Hello and welcome back to the Horse Racing Network with me, Izzy Phillips, and I'm joined as always by racing broadcaster and journalist Paul Alster. And we're taking a look ahead to a really exciting York Festival. We're going to preview day 1 and 2 of the festival. We've got the declarations, things look really hot, and we kick things off with the great Voltager actually. But before we do that, we're going to take a little look at the weather and the going, because we have had some changeable weather in York. We've had a few showers, which has been unusual in this drought that we've been having in the UK. So York Racecourse has watered, and on top of that, we've had a few showers. So in light of that, the going at the moment is currently good. It looks like it will probably be good, Paul, for the race meeting as a whole. I think we're probably not quite going to get that good to firm ground. There's showers forecast for Wednesday and Thursday of the meeting.
I'm currently not too far from the track, actually, and we've been having intermittent showers throughout the last 48 hours, really. I think the ground will be no faster than good, and if there's a proper cloudburst, then we could end up with ground that we haven't really faced in Britain for quite a long time, which would make things very interesting. But I don't think there'll be any excuse for anything really. Certainly on day 1, as things stand, I think it'll be perfect good ground. It's always beautifully prepared at York, which is one of the best race courses in the world. There's going to be a huge crowd as always. Hopefully there'll be a bit of sunshine to make sure the crowd numbers keep up. And I think we're in for a treat over the 4 days.
Actually so excited because I'm going to York for the first time this week. I'm going on the Friday and the Saturday, so I can't wait to see what everyone's been talking about. This, it feels like the Royal Ascot of the North is what this is almost billed to be, and I would say that the races do live up to that. Is there no race this week worth less than 100,000, which is fantastic?
Actually, there is it because Royal Ascot is actually the York of the South. Um, just to get, just to get
People that go to York have basically nothing but good things to say about it. So I am so excited to go.
Make sure you
But
go to the county stand, Izzy.
that is where
Go
I'm
visit
going.
the
I'm in
county
the
stand.
county stand.
It's
Yes.
absolutely delightful. You'll love it.
But before I get there, I'm
Yeah.
hopefully going to have a winner on day 1 or 2. So we'll take a look at the Voltager first. And you mentioned that we may, if heavy showers were to fall, get some unusual racing ground. Now, the last time we probably did have that ground, I would say, was probably most prolifically on Derby Day. And that's
Yeah.
some of the runners that we've actually got here in this Voltager. We've got the second place Maltese Cross. We've got Christmas Day, obviously our Derby winner. Pierre Bonnard was 7th in the Derby. You've got Superior Choice, Gallian, Antigua, also bringing up the field as well here. A small field, but actually a very good race, a very interesting race. Obviously, Maltese Cross has come out since and won at Longchamp in a Group 1. He looks like his season's going really from strength to strength. Christmas Day has come out since and run in obviously slightly different conditions. Good ground at the Curragh was 2nd. What way do you think this is going to go? Do you think that Christmas Day will get the better of Maltese Cross again, or do you think that the good ground will probably go in the favour of Maltese Cross?
I think this is a really tough race to call. As you pointed out, the 3 market principals, Maltese Cross, Christmas Day, and Pierre Bonnard, met at Epsom in the Derby. Now, Pierre Bonnard didn't run his race that day. Remember, he was second favourite for the Derby at 7-2. Didn't seem happy. No, I don't think it was the ground. I think it was more the track, because he'd won on very soft ground as a 2-year-old. He has since bounced back to be a close third in the Irish Derby. But of course, Christmas Day won at Epsom. Got to say, I thought it was a modest Derby. I think most people did. But Benvenuto Cellini, who had that incident in the stalls, has come out and won the Irish Derby. And Maltese Cross, who was second in the Derby, has come out and won the Grand Prix de Paris. So in the context of the 3-year-olds, that form is working out. I'd still possibly just prefer Christmas Day with Ryan Moore on board to get the better of Maltese Cross. But I'm not ruling out Pierre Bonnard going very, very close as well. I think these three look head and shoulders really above the rest. John Gosden's run a superior choice, won a nice race at Hamilton, a nice stepping stone, a listed contest, and he's a horse that's obviously improving, and Gosden must think so to throw him in against these. Galleon and Antigua's, real no-hoper, I'd say, but Galleon, I think, has more to do than last time out when second in a Group 3. So I think if I was forced into a bet, I'd probably go with Christmas Day, although the £5 that Pierre Bonnard receives from both Christmas Day and Maltese Cross could very easily bring him right there into it. I think it's going to be a fascinating race. And of course, we'll see just how much bearing it turns out to have on the St. Ledger, the final classic next month at Doncaster.
Yeah, absolutely. It's likely that, we'll see some of these again there at Doncaster. I actually don't know whether I agree with you or not, if I'm honest. There's something swaying me towards Maltese Cross. I just have this feeling that he would prefer the good ground slightly more than Christmas Day. I wonder whether we would see Christmas Day to best effect with just that little bit more cut in the ground. And I wonder if that's almost going to be his undoing. And it maybe seems to be what the market thinks. They're very close. I think it's going to be flip-flop favoritism all the way. I suppose it also depends if we have any other Haggis or Aidan O'Brien winners leading up to this race, because obviously that could then sway the market again. But my heart is telling me Maltese Cross will probably get this, which is a bit boring, but he's a reasonable price favourite, because I think obviously this is highly competitive. So yeah, let's see how they get on. I think it's a bit of a head-to-head for me and you. Will it be Maltese Cross or will it be Christmas Day? And then the race that follows this is, I think, probably one of the most exciting races of the week, the Juddmonte International Stakes. We've got the top of the market, Ombudsman, who had that weird drift going on where he drifted out to 75 to 1 for this race. And I think it was John Gosden come out and said he basically didn't understand where that had come from. Question is, who actually got on at 75 to 1? Because you're now laughing. He's in the race at 11 to 10 favourite and going up against Constitution River. And I think that's a race that everybody really wants to see. We've also got the York favourite, Item, in here, Paul. Obviously, he won the Dante. He's then won again here last month. So he seems to love York. It perhaps does just bring out the best in him. And then we've got Hawk Mountain in here as well. Al Maqam, Zaydan, Pride of Aris. Action looks to be in there as a pacemaker. And you've also got Devil's Advocate in there as a likely pacemaker as well. So a bit of team tactics going on. Build is a bit of a head-to-head, but Item could spoil the party. What are you making of this?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair summary. The head-to-head between Ombudsman, the 5-year-old, against the very exciting 3-year-olds, Constitution River in particular, and Item. I mean, Ombudsman on the figures is going to win. As you pointed out, this story to do with the betting, quite how much money they got on at 75. It might have been tough and safety, but I remember many years ago in the lead up to the Champion Hurdle, the horse of Nicky Henderson's called Binocular. That there was this rumor going around, and he was ridiculous prices, having been a short price favorite. Said he wasn't going to run, he won't. Anyway, eventually he won. He ran and won comfortably. So, these rumors, sometimes there is a basis to them. Other times, it could be somebody just trying to, almost play the markets. Who knows? But Ombudsman is a fabulous horse, and his win in this race was so exciting last year. Do you remember Burr Castle, the pacemaker, going so far clear? Some of us were certainly thinking this is not coming back. And Will Buick just played a blinder, just keeping cool and gradually reeling him in, getting to him at the furlong pole and then storming away. It was a wonderful win over Delacroix. So we know he likes the course and distance. We know he's high class. He slammed Mini Hawk, didn't he, at Ascot in the Prince of Wales. I mean, he's a fabulous horse. Every horse can have an off day, and so whether you'd want to bet even money or thereabouts against such a good horse as Constitution River, who's won the French Derby, has won the Eclipse against the older horses, maybe a below par Eclipse, but still won it. Hard to say, but he's a beautiful horse and very, very exciting. And then, as you say, there's this course form to do with Item, who won the Dante, which at the time I wasn't impressed by. But when you think that the third horse was the subsequent Derby winner, and things have panned out well there. And then he came back and he beat another course specialist, Pride of Arras, very comfortably here just 3 or 4 weeks ago. And Item is improving, and though he's got £10 to find on the figures with Ombudsman, you just wouldn't put it past Andrew Balding as being a surprise. There's been shocks in this race over the years, some amazing shocks. And don't rule out Hawk Mountain either, who's a very good second string for Ballydoyle. I can't see Al McCann being good enough. I'm always loath to oppose Francis-Henri Graffard, because I think he's a wonderful trainer. But although Zaydan has won his last 5, they're at much lower level. And he'd have to pull a real rabbit out of the hat to beat these horses under these conditions. So I think ultimately, if I had to have a bet, I'd be with Ombudsman to beat Constitution River, but very likely the each way steal is Item, because I find it hard to see him being out of the front 3.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's hard to really go against Ombudsman just with his sheer class. Like obviously Constitution River is up and coming. I think it's going to be a battle. I can see them definitely both being there. And if Constitution River is going to be, anywhere near as good as Ombudsman, he's going to have to put in a really good performance in the races. But I do think that Item could be the one that could just bring a surprise. Like he's got to play it right, because there will be that team tactic going on. Colin Keane's going to have to be very aware of what everybody is doing, because he's got the 2 pacemakers in the race. And then obviously you want to see where Constitution River sits, and where Ombudsman sits. And obviously you don't want to go too soon, because Ombudsman will reel you in. I think it's going to be very, very tactical. But if Colin Keane plays it right, I think he could find himself finishing quite closely. And he is quite a nice price to do so. So I do agree with you there. Right. Then that leads us into day 2. We've got some really nice racing on day 2 of the York Festival, and we're going to kick things off in the very first race of the day, the 150, the Lowther Stakes. We've actually got Libertango, current favourite for Billy Loughnane and George Bowie. We've got Star of State in here, Livenka, Moonrise, Wild Blossom, who's become one of my favourites actually this season for Wafnam. We've got In the Black, Miss Cody, Ruby Moon, and then Bigger the Rest. Quite a nice sized field here, Paul. This is your playground. 19 runners. We get some bigger prices. Do you fancy anything at a bigger price?
Well, at a bigger price, I'd give an each way squeak to Miss Cody, who I thought didn't really get the run of the race at Ascot in the Princess Margaret last time out. And, she's big odds. So I could see her going well. She previously won by 7 lengths at Chepstow in the novice and created quite a stir. So she's interesting. But again, I think the head of the market might well be the place to look here. Libertango is very good second at Newmarket last time out in the Duchess of Cambridge, having won the Albany Stakes the time before. She's rock solid. She's done so little wrong. Livenka, the Irish filly for Joe Lyons and Colin Keane, is again progressive. She won one of those sales races, median sales races last time at Naas. And Moonrise, you've mentioned. I'm not going to go through them all, but I do think that Joseph O'Brien has a filly who could be really very useful. She's called Star of State, owned by Jabbar Abdallah, who's owned so many particularly very good fillies. And after she finished second to Livenka on debut, which was a very promising start, she won at Leopardstown last time out. I don't know if you've seen this, but she won by 9 lengths in a Leopardstown maiden and was literally pulling up halfway up the running.
Wow.
You would have thought it was a 3-mile chase, the way that it was. So that was visually impressive. Now, of course, we don't know quite how good the opposition might have been that day. It won't have been bad, an Irish maiden at Leopardstown. So given Joseph's terrific record. I mean, he really is the star turn, really, in so many ways this season. I think Star of State at round 7-2 is the value to beat Libertango, with Miss Cody as a bit of a big price each way play if you're looking to play for bigger odds.
I think this is really hotly contested. The girls are really serving it up here, aren't they? Like they've had some really good races this season. Libertango, obviously, just missing out at Newmarket last time, like you say, could very easily go in again here. Star of State, like you said, that 9-length victory. But I am just drawn to a couple who have been successful already for me this season, and that is Oisin Murphy on Moonrise. I was taken with that victory at Ascot last time, and that was on King George Day. Both runs other than Kempton on the all-weather have been at Ascot. Obviously, it's very different running at York. So will we see the same results? But at 12-1, I'd give Moonrise a chance. I wouldn't want too much more rain, though. That's the only thing I would say for Moonrise. And Wild Blossom as well. I think that she could have a lovely chance here. She's stepping up from 5 furlongs to 6, but her run at Goodwood, I think she shows that she should handle that. I wouldn't be concerned about that. And I don't think she would mind it if there was that little bit of rain. That good ground, I think, will suit her. I don't think she's wedded to needing, the old dirt road of good to firm. And at 14-1, I think she's a really nice each way price. So I'd probably go Wild Blossom each way as my main selection, with also a cheeky shout for Moonrise. But later on at 3:35, we have the feature race of the day. And I'm so excited about this one. I've seen her run in the King George, but she's got Joanna Walsh to contend with here. We've got Kalpana. We've also got Mini Hawk, Tati Coram, Earthshot in here, Innis Moore, Legacy Link, Sparran Nua, and Sugar Island. If we're honest, you've got Joanna Walsh and Kalpana at the top of the market. It's likely going to be between these two, in my opinion. I think Kalpana will win. I just think that she comes alive this sort of end of the season. She's had her sort of getting ready runs now, and she's into her winning streak. I think she'll win here, and I think she'll also win when she hopefully goes to I think she would likely go in that fillies and mares race on British Champions Day.
The Arc. I mean, the Arc.
Well, will she go to the Arc again? I didn't know whether they would send her there again. I don't know whether she really loved it last year.
I think she's so much better this year.
She is so much better this year. My only concern about the Arc is, well, for me personally, I quite fancy Strange for the Arc if she goes. I just don't know whether Kalpana actually loved it. It wasn't like an unlucky performance for her. She just didn't really maybe appear to travel quite so well. So I wouldn't be as confident on her in the Arc, but she loves that race at British Champions Day. So she'll go in that, I would imagine, regardless, because she wins that every year. But I think she'll enjoy this.
Yeah, I mean, as for the Yorkshire Oaks, I think she's hard to oppose. As you know, I don't like backing favourites, but she's got to give £9 to Joanna Walsh, which is weight for age. And Joanna Walsh's victory in the Irish Oaks was terrific. Beat Inishmore easily by 4 lengths there. Inishmore's going to take a chance again. And Joanna Walsh is very, very progressive. It's that man again, Joseph O'Brien, and you've got to fear him. But the way Kalpana took down Calandagan at Ascot, I mean, that is absolutely superb form. She's more or less ground versatile, apart from, I think at Longchamp, the very soft ground was against her. If they got good ground at Longchamp, by the way, in October, then if she was mine, I'd want to run her because, a decent surface. And I think this is hers for the taking, Kalpana. So she's the one. Mini Hawk was well beaten by Kalpana. She ran too bad to be true at Ascot. And her second to Ombudsman the time before in the Prince of Wales was a really good effort. But she's just not consistent enough this season, Minnie Hawk. Just a word as well for Tati Coram, for Rafe Beckett, who's progressive. You know, she is improving. She's got a lot to find on the figures, but the horse she beat last time out in the Group 2 at Newmarket, Tiffany, went on to win a Group 1 in Germany last time out. So that form has been frank. But again, I think Joanna Walsh is going to make a proper race of it with Kalpana, but when it comes to it, I think I'd want Kalpana on my side. I think she might prove to be the best bet of the week at the Ebor Festival.
Maybe like an Ombudsman Kalpana double could be a good way forward. Two classy horses that we're hoping are going to perform. This is the thing. They've been running all season, and I think it's just bearing in mind that, like you say, horses can have an off day. So hopefully they can all continue and pull it out really for York. That is the only thing when we're sort of talking about their seasons. I'm like, yeah, they have had quite a few runs though, actually. So
yeah, that wouldn't bother me. I've got to be honest, it wouldn't bother. I think these days a lot of the trainers, you know, wrap their horses up in cotton wool. It's great to see them being campaigned properly.
Yes, definitely.
It's not that long ago, you know, a decade and a half, a little bit more. I mean, when you think what See the Stars did when in 6 Group 1s in a season at a variety of distances, I know he was exceptional, but
I was going to say, they're not all See the Stars. That's the only thing.
That's right. But, you know, they always used to run them plenty of times and take each other on, not be afraid to lose. So I think it's great that they're letting them campaign and letting them, you know, show what they can do instead of wrapping them up and then, you know.
Maybe that's why we've got maybe some sort of slightly better prices for some of the classier favourites in the race. It's just that you are looking now that, especially, you know, like Ombudsman, they're just getting a little bit older. When they have had that many runs, it could be a bit vulnerable to the younger legs of like a Constitution River, kind of like what we saw with Trawlham and Blessing. It at some point age gets to us all. So it'd be interesting to see what happens, but I really like the Ombudsman Kalpana double. Two horses I'm really pleased to see back out again, and that I think will win. So that will be my closing statement for York Day 1 and 2. Have you got any other business for us, Paul? Or are you saving it for your listeners on your special podcast?
My client. Well, I think there was one horse that on day 1 in the 4:45, which is a 3-year-old sprint called Poatan for George Scott. A late reappearance this season, but a good third, only beaten a length in a listed race. I could see that one going well at double figures each way. So Poatan in the 4:45 on Wednesday.
Fantastic. Well, thanks very much, guys. Don't forget to keep an eye on the podcast because Paul and Jack will be back a little bit later in the week to preview the rest of the York Festival.